On your marks.
And we're racing here for the second stop on the T100 World Tour in Singapore. Official water temperatures today, 30.9 degrees Celsius, air temperatures 32 degrees, and the humidity is hovering right around 60%. Because of these hot water temperatures, extremely hot water temperatures, the swim is officially a non-wetsuit swim. That means athletes are not allowed to wear wetsuits. Historically, this favours the stronger swimmers, of which there are quite a few in today's race. And we see probably the perfect example of that going right to the front of the race here in the pink cap. That's Lucy Charles-Barclay.
Lucy Charles-Barclay, and that's what I love about the way she races. She races to win, and anything less than that is not good enough. And she's been the bridesmaid so many times. She was bridesmaid in Miami. She is coming here and she will want the win here today. It's not going to be easy for her, but she's setting herself up now to make sure that she's got every chance possible for that to happen.
Look at this gap. That is
huge.
That's huge. I do think this is the biggest gap we've ever seen in a PTO or T100 race, female race. I think actually probably the biggest gap we've seen in a men's or women's race in T100 history.
Great swim from Lotte Willems as we see the two Lucys off the front here. Lucy Charles-Barclay already got her eyes down and looking like she's in the zone. Transition about to go. And what we've got especially here, they've got little cooler boxes where they were able to place fluids beforehand. Just another testament to how hot these conditions are. We see Lucy Charles-Barclay put some ice into her suit, and we're about to take on the run course and see the gap right here.
That's Hayley Chura coming out of the water. Right now we've got Lotte Willems right on her heels, right behind. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly, there you go, that gap.
A minute and 12 seconds.
Wow.
It has blown out by 45 extra seconds than it was at the Aussie exit. So what Jan said early, that the second half of the swim does seem to be where the gaps really establish themselves, is exactly what happens. Jan, we're seeing Lucy Buckingham be the more aggressive one out of T1. She was there, and we see Ash Gentle here entering T1 as well.
And there is a long day ahead as we see Ash Gentle putting on her helmet. She cannot wait to get on land and try and make up the deficit. She's obviously a very good racer, and I think these conditions will play to her.
What a fantastic transition from Ash Gentle. Look at that. She's coming out with Lotte Willems out of T1 now, with Lotte Willems and Hayley Chura only just in front. So incredibly fast transition from Ash Gentle.
We're seeing here at the front of the race, Lucy Charles-Barclay, as she always does, racing aggressively. Lucy Buckingham got that good start out of T1, but up on the Shears Bridge, so this is the first climb of the day. It's almost a kilometre long, not quite a kilometre. It's the most gentle of the climbs, but that is where Lucy Charles-Barclay has gone to the front.
Here we have the next pass. This is Ash Gentle overtaking
Rebecca Clark.
And they are in a different zip code of pace right now. I mean, a hill always exaggerates this kind of pace, but bear in mind, Rebecca Clark was a minute and 45 ahead out of the water in one lap to lose almost 2 minutes. It's early days. It's only the second lap, and she can definitely find her rhythm, but this looks like Anne Reichmann.
Chelsea Sodaro is not feeling very good right now, because you could see the ease at which Anne Reichmann just passed her. And even the fact that now, obviously when you get passed by an athlete, you at least try to stay with them for some time just to try and get yourself going again. And I know...
Oh, we're just seeing Chelsea. I think that's Chelsea Sodaro, who's... I mean, funny enough, and we heard in commentary from Jan and Belinda, there are days when you start racing and it just doesn't feel like it's going your way. We have been watching Chelsea throughout. Just give us a little bit of insight when it is a race like this, where things are just stacking up against you from the very start, how difficult it is to keep going, particularly in these conditions.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it looks like she's retiring, doesn't it?
It looks like we could already see, I think, from the swim, she didn't have the best swim.
Lucy Buckingham come to the front of the race and make the pass on Lucy Charles. She's come into the draft zone, so she has to. I wonder why at this point. We're about halfway into the bike when she's decided to make the lead and make the move and come into the lead of the race. We sort of said this, Belinda and Jan, that it did look like she was choosing to sit in, not like she couldn't go to the front if she wanted. Is she going there to work, or is she going there to attack, Jan? We are seeing some really extreme weather conditions starting to roll in here overhead in Singapore. Lightning is only 15 kilometres away. Now, keep in mind, if it gets much closer than that, within 13 kilometres of any point on the race course, we're not allowed to race here. We've just measured it at 15 kilometres away. It's becoming dark and overcast above us. That means the humidity's up. What that says is if that lightning stays away, it means it's going to be so much more humid towards the back end of this race, particularly on the run, which makes run conditions so much more brutal. We are now expecting to see absolute carnage on the run. We're just having a look here. Lucy Buckingham appears to be cramping potentially.
No.
Something's going on here. We need to get a bit of a close-up of this. It looks like she's trying to stretch out a glute or a hamstring or a quad, particularly maybe on that right-hand side. Jan said it before, at any moment you can cramp on this race and you have to go, oh, it's the left hammy. Left hamstring has cramped on Lucy Buckingham there. We saw Lucy Charles-Barclay go around in front of her. It's exactly like you called, Jan. This is the jeopardy of racing in Singapore. It looks like everything can be going well. Everything looked like it was going perfectly for Lucy Buckingham. Her partner Mark, Coach Mark, refused to say anything before 10 kilometres to go in the race. We're seeing now why.
But look at that. She's just, it can happen at any moment, any time. We've seen it happen with Christian Blumenfeld here before. So, but all she needed to do was just stop pedaling, stretch it out, be patient, don't stress, don't get upset about it. And look, she's already back on track. But you saw that Lucy Charles-Barclay took that opportunity immediately to take the lead, to keep that pace going. But it looks now like she's got it back under control. But yep, as Jan said, welcome to racing in Asia. And it's interesting, while we see Els Visser not content with sitting on, it's funny, she's just worked all the way up to this group and she's like, well, I'm not sitting here, I'm going to go straight past Lucy Byram. She is not content to just sit there. She's a very aggressive rider. Great to see her having a good race today. And another one worth mentioning on screen, you can see just on screen with our graphic below Visser, is Anne Reichman, also renowned for being incredibly strong on the bike, and she's moved up 11 spots. So both Els Visser and Anne Reichman really riding very, very well on course.
Kind of the impression that she leaves here, something very inspiring, something wonderful. Oh, as we get pictures, the first pictures of Els Visser, who is coming in and the last lap of the bike, working her way right up and overtaking Ash Gentle.
And look at the difference in cadence right between these two athletes. You've got Ash Gentle, much, much faster cadence. Look at the grind, look at the gear that Els Visser is pushing, right, staying down in those error bars, but she must have a cadence of around, 70 to 80 right now, but a really slow cadence when you compare it to Ash. So you can see now Lucy Byram overtaking Imogen Simmons. So these two were dropped from that group once Els Visser caught them and went flying through them all. So these two riding by themselves, you can see just up the road.
Lucy Charles-Barclay here. She's got her feet out of her shoes. She's entering T2. She's broken Lucy Buckingham that little bit at the back end of the ride. Now she probably in her head isn't thinking about Lucy Buckingham. Thanks for the companionship. It was great. Her head now goes to, when can I see Ash Gentle? When can I see Els Visser? When can I see Lucy Byram? Imogen Simmons. She's going to hit T2 here. She's going to really try and aggressively attack T2. We know she always does. She did at Miami. She's going to do it again here. Then she gets out onto the Marina Bay sands. She'll settle into her race pace, not far into the run. She gets her first look at her competition.
I just saw Jan, big shake of the head there as Lucy Charles-Barclay came into transition. You did notice that she came to a complete standstill. It is the rule that you are not allowed to be on your bike when you roll across that red line. Obviously, that is the dismount line. You must make sure that you are off your bike before then. But Jan, you were not happy with Lucy Charles-Barclay's dismount, were you?
Well, yeah. I mean, let's be honest. The two ladies are transitioned in the same moment, simply because she chose to stop and then lift her leg over the saddle, whereas Lucy Buckingham would have probably jumped off her bike. But they're little things, and I love the effort she puts in.
I guess the big thing now is Els Visser actually a chance to win this race? Can she run up to second? Can she run up to first? Not many people predicted her to do that, but she does look to be on one of the races of her life right now, Jan.
As we see Ash Gentle coming into transition 2 of effort, and of course if at the end of the bike you are making up ground, you're feeling good, then I think that's an extremely good sign. And Els Visser knows that she's with Ash Gentle, and Els Visser is going to try and shake her, because that's what she has to do in terms of getting a bit of a margin, as she takes her drinks out of the cooling box, making sure she stays hydrated.
Look at Ash Gentle.
Ash Gentle looks
absolutely
great, you have to say.
incredible.
She's coming straight around Els Visser, making her mark on this race. But I think between these two girls, there's certainly a strong chance of, well, one of them's definitely going to make a podium, but maybe even both of them. We'll have to see.
I mean, we're not even 4K into the run yet as we see them make the pass. Ash Gentle's going to see that she's gained that minute. She's going to be able to tell that she's bridging that gap to Lucy Charles-Barclay. And Lucy Charles-Barclay, Jan, is going to see, look at that, you saw that Ash Gentle just eyes on her, prey versus predator type stuff going on there. Lucy Charles-Barclay would have seen how fast Ash Gentle was moving. Yeah, completely crazy considering she wasn't even part of this series to start. So super impressive performance here from Lucy Buckingham and just holding strong.
Almost a little bit of a mistake. She went to go down to the finish line, but realised, whoop, need to just fix myself up there. She's got 2 laps to go now. She completes lap 1, but yeah, very impressed. Ash Gentle now just overtaken Lucy Buckingham. We knew it was inevitable, but it has finally happened. And now we know Ash Gentle is on the hunt for the only Lucy left in front of her, Lucy Charles-Barclay.
Wow, that's 5.5 minutes over less than 8K, 7.5K. She is motoring, absolutely flying along here, and still looking very composed. Literally, it feels like my body's splitting in two. Like one half wants to just shout and scream for Ash. The other one is kind of like, oh my God, please, please, Lucy, not again. As she has a fan moment there, somebody catching a bottle or something of hers. I couldn't quite see what she was throwing, but she obviously had a shared moment.
And you can see Lucy Charles-Barclay taking everything on offer through those aid stations. Sponges down the chest, water over the head, doing everything possible to get that temperature down.
1 minute and 1 second with 1 lap remaining. 1 minute and 1 second with 6 kilometres, 1 lap remaining.
That's 10 seconds a K, where, you know, normally you feel, yeah, 10 seconds, there's no way anybody's running faster than me by 10 seconds per each kilometre. But right now, Ash Gentle is making light work, and she's probably caught up double that in the first 2 laps.
Hey Jack, it's a little bit like that tap that Sam Long gave to Sam Laidlow. Is there going to be
No
one?
love lost.
Nothing, not a thing.
No love lost. Wow.
That is just all business from Ash Gentle. 4.1 kilometres to go. She makes the decisive pass of the day. In triathlon, in conditions like this, you usually make the pass and they don't go the other way. Once you make the pass, they're usually done. Ash Gentle didn't just make that pass, she made the pass and she pushed and she just turned her head back and had a look. That's a sign she definitely put in a surge, and you saw it. That's 25, 30 minutes already.
In this series, you see athletes specialising for this kind of distance and others not so mumuch.
Well, saying that, I mean, Els Visser, obviously, yes, very, very, as she takes now onto the podium, so she has overtaken Lucy Buckingham into 3rd place, so that final spot on the podium. But if you...
Almost a little look of disbelief. She looks like she's tearing up right there. I mean, you know, play it like the cool cats and confident and all these things, but it's emotional.
Absolutely,
You're tired,
it's emotional.
And right now, this is a beautiful moment. As the smile hits her face, she's on the finishing straight.
Ashley Gentle, a 2-time PTO Open champion, her debut T100 World Tour race. As she gives some high fives, tears up, crosses the line. Her first ever T100 World Tour Series victory. 5 minutes, 30 seconds down out of T2. She's done it.
And what a smile. You know, you were right. Right before, I think when it just hit, you did see that wave of emotion come over Jan, and there were almost tears. But then once she came into that finish shoot, when she saw that tape, high-fiving the crowd on the way down, and that big, beautiful smile of hers.
Lucy Charles-Barclay approaching the finish line now.
Jack, what does this woman have to do to get first place at one of these races? Second, again, she was second in Miami. She's going to be second here today, high-fiving the crowd as she makes her way towards the finish line. Still a fantastic race from Lucy Charles-Barclay, but she just wasn't fast enough on that run with the fleet-footed Ash Gentle.
Grateful for every supporter that's out there to come and cheer her on. I mean, she is definitely one of the crowd favorites. But I can tell you what, she will be happy to finish this race and get that hug.
Second at Miami, second here at Singapore. 2 races in the T100 World Tour, 2 second places. By anyone's standards, that's as good as it gets. But for Lucy Charles-Barclay, No doubt she crossed that line with a mixture of happiness, relief, but also a little bit of wanting more.
Oh, look, as we said earlier, these are the best women triathletes in the world. They are the greatest that we have right now. It's all about getting on that blue carpet, Jack. Once you're on that blue carpet, you almost know you're home and hosed, you're safe. But look, talking to her coach, she's been so incredibly consistent with her training over the last few years. And like you said, she's really worked on her run. And it absolutely showed today.
Els Visser, never been on a PTO podium before. Here we are at Singapore, podium at the T100. This is a special, special day for Els Visser. She probably can't believe it. A lot of people probably can't believe it, but that is an almighty performance, and yeah.
Oh, and look at that right behind, and what a race. Lucy Buckingham. Oh, and we've got someone in front. It's Amelia Watkinson, so she did get her. So we knew that Amelia was closer. That is Amelia Watkinson now, has just managed to overtake Lucy Buckingham. We knew that Amelia Watkinson was coming through. We last saw her, she was in 5th, so coming home to take 4th. And Lucy Buckingham now home in 5th. Wow. This is what we expect to see, this sort of racing.
Here's the thing. 3rd for Els Visser, brilliant performance. 4th for Amelia Watkinson, brilliant performance. 5th for Lucy Buckingham, brilliant performances. Lucy, Els, and Amelia would all be so stoked with their races today.
Well, you can see it on the finish line now. Look at them. Look at the smiles, tell the story. They paint the picture perfectly. Incredible racing. But that Amelia Watkinson on screen right now, that was a sensational run from her.